Modern life has deprived us of opportunities for rest and forced us to trade quantity for quality. It has led us to believe that long hours are necessary to produce great work. As a result, overworking is normalized and people wear fatigue as a badge of honor. With the growth of global industries and the proliferation of digital tools that let you work anywhere and anytime, opportunities for work expand. People now think of work as something you do all day. Because of this, resting becomes almost impossible. The problem of overwork has recently become more pervasive due to the erosion of labor unions and workplace protections. Global competition, decreased job security, flat wages, and increased rent have forced workers to push for longer hours and work harder to stay in place. The rise of modern industry and technology transformed knowledge from a product of leisure to a product of work. Knowledge created through hard work is now considered significant and profound, whereas knowledge created through contemplation is unimpressive and unreliable. Earlier eras would have found these presumptions absurd. Contemplation is essential because when we rest, it becomes easier to make sense of the past and find solutions to problems that are occupying our waking hours. Neglecting rest might make you more productive in the short run, but it will make your work less profound in the long run. Our brain is always active. Scientists have discovered that our resting state brain activity is as coordinated as our working state brain activity. However, different brain regions are activated when we're resting compared to when we're working. When we're resting, our brain automatically switches on a default mode network, a series of interconnected sections that activate as soon as we stop concentrating on external tasks. Scientists have discovered that the default mode network and resting state are doing critical work on our behalf. Active communication between the different sections of the default mode network leads to enhanced cognitive abilities and executive functions, better mental health, and a higher capacity for self-awareness, empathy, and moral judgment. Thus, allowing your brain to rest is critical to its development, health, and productivity. Mind wandering is an inward-focused cognitive process linked to the default mode network. People often consider mind wandering a waste of time. However, brief periods of mind wandering boost creativity. The wandering mind deals with problems in a freer way than the focused mind, allowing us to devise creative solutions. Often we hit a wall in our projects and cannot think up solutions no matter what we do. In this situation, we need to let our minds wander. Our subconscious mind will continue working on the problem until it finds a solution. That is how creative breakthroughs happen. Society has convinced us that the key to success is to work hard for long hours. However, when we examine the lives of history's most creative figures, we'll notice that they only spent a few hours a day doing their most important work. Charles Darwin, Thomas Jefferson, and Charles Dickens, for example, worked hard, but they also knew how and when to rest. They were able to do this by being productive in small blocks of time, specifically around 4 hours a day. That is possible for all of us. To accomplish our most creative work, we only need to work one session of 4 hours per day. Short, frequent, and focused sessions structured with clear goals are the key to enhanced productivity and creativity. Working for too long increases the odds of draining ourselves mentally and burning out. Resting is just as important as working. However, we must remain mindful of how we spend our leisure time to understand its value. After resting, our creative energy is at its peak. We can then work at our peak abilities for shorter periods, rather than half-heartedly throughout the day. One study showed that scientists working 35 hours a week were half as productive as their colleagues who worked 20 hours a week. Those who put in 60 or more hours per week were the least productive of all. These findings prove the importance of rest. The world doesn't give us time for rest. We have to take it. Developing and maintaining a morning routine creates space in the day for rest. This boosts our creativity during working hours and trains our subconscious mind to keep working, even when we turn our attention to other things. For creative workers, the dominant pattern is to wake up and get right to work. The first 4 hours of the day are the most important. In the morning, when you're still fresh, you get your most important work done before the world has a chance to intrude. Having clear boundaries between periods of work and rest allows us to get more from each. A day that starts with work leads to rest that can be enjoyed without guilt. When you start and finish early, The rest you take is the rest you've earned. It's important to work the same hours of the day every day, often 7 days a week. Routine is critical to production and inspiration, unlike a few hours carelessly spent in random bursts of energy. You can't wait for inspiration to start your work. Inspiration is a byproduct of work, not the other way around. You have to do the work first. People often think that routine diminishes creativity. However, when we're able to choose how to organize our work, we become more reflective about how things work and better able to notice how they might be improved. Thus, routinization of work, accompanied by freedom, enhances creativity. Routines save time and energy because they don't tap into willpower, resilience, or intrinsic motivation. In other words, when you do the same thing every day, it gets easier, allowing you to focus your energy on hard problems. A combination of routine and freedom, and a world laid out to support creative work while reducing unnecessary distractions and peripheral decisions, nicely describes the world that focused mornings and routines make. Walking isn't just a form of exercise. For many creative thinkers, walking provides time to clear the mind without completely abandoning the problems at hand. It can be solitary or social, a chance for contemplation or conversation with others. People often use walking as a way of loosening creative inhibitions and finding solutions to their problems. Natural scenes engage some of our attention without requiring much conscious effort. They provide just enough diversion to occupy the conscious mind, leaving the subconscious mind free to find solutions. Walking doesn't just loosen inhibitions to creative thinking. Often, it can dislodge insights that have been working their way up from the subconscious. In other words, walking can lead to creative breakthroughs. We don't need to be outside to stimulate our creativity. It is the activity of walking that is most responsible for enhancing it. Nobody is absolutely sure why walking has that effect. Perhaps it takes just enough focus that it lets seemingly unrelated possibilities spring to mind. Walking isn't great for analytical and focused thinking, but does wonders for creative thinking. This idea holds up to experimental verification. Walking helps you get away from the noise in your head and makes it easier for your mind to wander. Afternoon naps have immense restorative powers. Scientists have discovered that even a short nap can be effective in recharging your mental batteries. You can learn to time your nap to boost creativity, make it more physically restorative, and increase the connection between the conscious and unconscious mind. For some people, an afternoon nap is a way to stretch out the working day. One afternoon nap can split the day into 2 working days. When we wake up from a nap, we regain our concentration and refuel our creativity. Napping not only increases alertness and decreases fatigue, but it also improves memory by allowing our brain to solidify things we've just learned. Moreover, napping improves emotional regulation and self-control, making us less impulsive and better at handling frustration. We must pay attention to what time of day we nap. The favored time for a nap is usually the hour after lunch. That is when we're most likely to dream, and when our subconscious is most likely to find solutions for whatever we're working on. You can nap at any time you want. All naps are going to provide certain benefits. Physically restorative naps are likely to be as useful as creatively energizing naps, since creative work is both mentally and physically draining. No sleep is going to be lost time. Your dreams are your subconscious mind working on problems. Salvador Dali argues that sleep isn't a period of inactivity. Instead, it is precisely during our sleep that we solve the most complicated problems that we aren't capable of solving in our waking life. Brief naps allow us to harness the power of our dreams most effectively. They provide enough time for insights from our dreams to surface, but not enough time for us to forget them. We often feel the need to work continuously and push on, even when our bodies are begging to rest, but this is a mistake. Even during his country's most desperate hours, Winston Churchill found time to nap. We would be wise to ask if our work is really more important. If you're working on a project and it feels like you're getting tired and losing your momentum, stop working on it. Stopping work when you can see the next point to make, or when you still have a little energy left, makes it easier to get started the next day. A break helps create a steadier pace that makes you more productive in the long run. It also seems to tease your subconscious mind into thinking about your work while you're doing other things. You will get more done and produce better quality work if you pace yourself. Some psychologists have argued that breaks simply provide a chance for the brain to recover its energy. However, even when you're staring into space, your brain only uses 5–10% less energy than it does when you're focused on a difficult task. The discovery of the default mode network and mind wandering confirms that the creative benefits of breaks are more likely to be the product of an active subconscious process. Psychologists have also confirmed that the subconscious mind is more creative when you know you'll be working again. Keeping a schedule can clear the ground for creative breakthroughs. Creating an aware condition for yourself puts your brain on higher alert. When your mind knows that you're going to resume work the next day, it will continue thinking about your project and coming up with ideas until then. Stopping at the right time requires understanding the demands of your work, learning to monitor your energy and attention, and appreciating how focused attention and mind wandering can become partners in a creative life. Sleep is when our body repairs itself and when our brain consolidates memories and generates dreams. Sleep deprivation has immediate effects on our ability to focus, make good judgments, perform under pressure, and be creative. Long-term sleep deprivation can affect our mental health and physical condition. Sleep is restful because we aren't really shutting down. When we fall asleep, our bodies dedicate themselves to storing energy, repairing or replacing damaged cells, and growing. Moreover, our brains eliminate toxins, process the day's experiences, and sometimes work on problems that have been occupying our waking minds. This work is concentrated in those periods when we sleep most deeply. Our brains move through 5 stages of sleep. The first 2 stages are when our body relaxes, and the third and fourth stages are when we drop into the deepest phase of sleep, known as slow-wave sleep. The fifth and final stage is when we enter REM sleep. That is when we move our limbs, toss and turn, and rapidly move our eyes. We're not aware of this movement, but it reflects a higher level of brain activity. Most of our dreaming happens during REM sleep. Visual tasks, emotional experiences, and motor skills are solidified during REM sleep, while factual information, past experiences, and ideas are solidified during slow-wave sleep. Sleeping minds and waking minds each have abilities that complement the other. Our waking hours heighten our ability to learn and perform, while our sleeping hours deepen our ability to remember and create. Burnout can lead to emotional exhaustion, a decline in performance, poor decision-making, and lower empathy. It can also create marriage and family problems and contribute to depression, anxiety, poor health, and higher rates of suicide. Burnout is most likely to affect the most dedicated, most experienced, and most skilled workers. Given the dangers of burnout, it's worth asking what kinds of breaks provide the highest degree of recovery. Recovery is active, not passive, and we can design it to get greater benefit. 4 major factors contribute to recovery: relaxation, control, mastery experiences, and mental detachment from work. Relaxation is the most straightforward of the 4 to understand. It's an activity that's pleasant and undemanding. Control and mastery experiences are more interesting. In the context of recovery, control means having the power to decide how you spend your time, energy, and attention. Mastery experiences are engaging and fun things that you do well. They're often challenging, but this makes them mentally absorbing and all the more rewarding when you do them well, such as chess. For people working in unstable or high-risk jobs, having mastery experiences during breaks can be especially crucial. Detachment is the ability to put work out of your mind and attend to other things. Workers who can detach themselves from work and devote their energies elsewhere are more productive, have better attitudes, get along better with their colleagues, and have an easier time dealing with challenging tasks. The idea that our mental energies refill with time, rather than through activities that promote recovery, is false. Rather than treating vacations as big, annual events that are completely separate from our working lives, taking shorter but more frequent vacations every few months provides greater levels of recovery. Intellectual activity and athletic ability aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Many professional athletes have had distinguished academic careers, and some of the brightest minds in history also excelled in sports. Moreover, several studies have shown that academic and athletic excellence can complement one another. People often associate exercise with healthy aging. However, recent studies show that for people of any age, gender, or athletic ability, exercise can increase brain power, boost intelligence, and provide the stamina and psychological resilience necessary to do creative work. Exercise improves brain structure by inducing neuronal growth and stimulating neurogenesis, which is the formation of neurons. Running seems to be particularly effective in stimulating neurogenesis. Exercise generally has indirect but positive effects on creativity. While walking stimulates new ideas in the moment, a long run stimulates ideas afterward and improves your ability to turn good ideas into creative works. However, people who don't normally exercise don't get the same creative boost from a workout. Exercise improves your circulation and helps deliver more blood to your brain. Because the brain's demand for oxygen and sugar rises when you're concentrating hard, more blood being delivered to your brain makes it easier to solve difficult tasks. Physical stamina is also important for creative work. We often misjudge how physically demanding cognitive tasks can be, especially ones that require focus for hours at a time. Japanese novelist Haruki Murakami trains for marathons because it helps build the concentration and stamina to write. Regular exercise also relieves stress and increases your capacity to deal with the pressures of difficult jobs. Workaholics are more likely than other people to feel anxiety about work when they're out of the office. Exercise provides an outlet for nervous energy and a different focus for mental energy. When we treat exercise as something we seldom have time for, we risk becoming low achievers. Exercise helps us have long, productive lives. We shouldn't be surprised that people manage to be physically active and productive. We should recognize that they are productive because they are physically active. Some hobbies are much more than a distraction. Under the right conditions, hobbies and physical activities become what anthropologists and psychologists call deep play. Activities become deep play when they have at least one of four features. First, deep play is engaging and mentally absorbing. It offers players challenges to face and problems to solve, allowing them to discover new things about the world and themselves that they would not in their work. Second, deep play offers players a new context in which to use some of the same skills that they use in their work. Finding those skills useful during their leisure time can be extremely gratifying. Third, deep play offers some of the same satisfaction as work, but it also offers different and clearer rules and rewards thanks to differences in media or scale or pace. For example, learning to play a song on the piano in just a few days can be deeply satisfying. Finally, deep play provides a living connection to the player's past. It may build on things the player did as a child or have features that remind the player of fun childhood activities. Thus, it can serve as a way of maintaining links with the past. This combination of absorption, use of skills in new contexts, similar satisfactions through different means, and personal connection makes deep play a powerful source of recovery. Deep play is valuable because it helps creative minds keep working on problems, even while playing music, painting, or hiking. Seeing work and play as connected can help people turn what is seen as a time-wasting distraction into an important, valuable part of life. Deep play is striking because it also establishes clear boundaries between work and play. It might remind you of work, but deep play demands exclusive focus. Taking sabbaticals can boost your creativity, help you discover new ideas, and lead you to achieve a breakthrough in your current work. Sabbaticals improve employee satisfaction, give returning workers a greater sense of clarity about their jobs and future, and enhance memory. Sabbaticals play a critical role in intellectual development. Psychologists studying the effects of travel, exposure to new cultures, and experience living abroad have found that extended exposure to other places and cultures can increase your creativity and free your mind to make creative leaps. Adapting to a new environment requires going through culture shock, making new friendships and professional connections, and developing an ability to understand and appreciate unfamiliar norms and customs. Everyone working in creative fields will benefit from taking a sabbatical. Well-designed breaks can offer opportunities for creative recovery regardless of their length, regularity, and location. Sabbaticals provide opportunities for professional and personal renewal that we can draw on to build new companies and careers. Sabbaticals don't have to be long. Immersion in other cultures and the development of a bicultural identity have significant and beneficial effects on the work of creative people. However, short sabbaticals can be restorative and life-changing when done skillfully. We should treat work and rest as equals. Rest doesn't just magically appear when we need it, especially in today's fast-paced world. Taking rest seriously requires recognizing its importance, claiming our right to rest, and making time for it in our daily lives. Throughout our lives, rest restores our energy, gives us more time, helps us do more, and helps us focus on doing the things that matter most. Rest creates a life that's rewarding while it's lived, and a life with purpose and pleasure in equal measure.